I think non-pussy getting male lonelies are deteriorating society.
If a woman really wants to fuck you, you gotta talk her out of it, not into it. That's facts.
So the idea that being critical of America means that you don't love it is fucking dumb.
I want to believe that the American ideals that my ancestors fought and died for, that they're possible.
How long before the asteroid gets here?
It doesn't matter.
No, that's very important. If the asteroid is going to be here tomorrow, I'm just having sex for the next 24 hours and drinking and like eating candy. Hi guys, it's Joy Taylor. Welcome to another episode of Too Personal. If you haven't already, make sure that you hit subscribe. I have a very exciting show for you today. My very dear friend Van Lathan is joining us later on the show. He is an author, an Academy Award-winning producer, and a podcast host. You may know him from Higher Learning with my other dear friend Rachel Lindsay and the Midnight Boys podcast. So I'm really excited for him to join us later. But first, happy Mother's Day to everyone out there who has birthed a child. I have 13 nieces and nephews and 14 on the way. They are all my children, but I'm not their mother. I'm their aunts. And I'm very grateful for my mother and my sisters who are mothers. And so happy Mother's Day to all the moms. I spent the weekend in Miami with my family and got to see my mom. So definitely want to say happy Mother's Day and get into our topics for today. And I'm going to start with this insane situation with the 59 white South Africans who have landed in the Washington, D.C. area after the Trump administration has said that this group will receive expeditious refugee status. 59 white South Africans. President Donald Trump has said that the refugee applications for the country's Afrikaner minority has been expedited because they were victims of racial discrimination. No, I am not reading a script from SNL. This is a real thing. The South African government has denied this, saying any allegations of persecution would not meet the threshold required under refugee law. Now, for most of the people who will support this, I'm going to venture to say that they haven't been to South Africa. I have been to South Africa. I've been to Cape Town. And I actually went to Robben Islands. And the experience of seeing the prison on Robben Island, of seeing the cell where Nelson Mandela spent decades of his life fighting apartheid and racial discrimination in South Africa, to feel the feeling of walking those halls with, by the way, a tour guide who was formerly a prisoner at Robben Island, to then be reading off of a card explaining that we are now taking refugees from South Africa that are white because they're dealing with racial discrimination. I don't really know if I have the words to describe how blood boiling that is. I know that this administration is by the day trying to outdo every Simpsons episode that has ever predicted the collapse of society perfectly. I know that we are dealing with the repercussions of the deterioration of the education system in this country and a meticulous job at propaganda to convince the people that support this regime, let's just call it what it is, that the true enemies are Black and brown refugees and immigrants. And now we are importing white South Africans to the United States of America, and they're being given refugee status. This is insane, and I know that that's kind of an understatement when we're talking about some of the things that the Trump administration has done since he's come into office. But I really, really encourage everyone to read a book. Just read one page of one of the books that they're trying to ban, because I cannot even bear the thought of having a conversation with anyone who is going to defend this while we're dragging people off of the streets with no due process and then shipping them off to countries that they are not even from, to prison camps, whilst they're not even criminals, and at the same time bringing in white South African refugees because they're suffering racial discrimination. Don't talk to me about how aligned America is with the future. Don't talk to me about how this country is not specifically following a white supremacist agenda. It is nonsense. This is a fucking joke. This is a joke. Every other day, we're seeing a video of ICE breaking people's windows and dragging them out of their homes, tearing children away from their parents, and you are in the open proudly bringing in refugees from South Africa. Do you have any idea what has gone on in South Africa? Read a fucking book. This is a joke. We have a long, long regime ahead of us, so buckle up. I know the tariffs and all the other shit was crazy, but very rarely does this administration do anything that surprises me, and that one kind of took me off guard. So switching gears completely to this Buzzfeed article that was released over the weekend, women are sharing the moments that they realized they really didn't know their partners, so they're divulging details about affairs, financial dishonesty, and decade-long secrets, which reminded me of one of my biggest fears in relationships. I've always said that it terrifies me, the thought of spending a life with someone or spending decades with someone and investing time and energy and, compromising for a partner only to wake up one day and they're a completely different person. And, that's the risk that you take when you get into a long-term relationship with someone. But that is just something that's very, very terrifying to me. And I was reading through these stories and thinking of moments in my life where I've been really shocked by a partner, but I don't know if I've had exactly this experience. Like I've found a partner's search history and been pretty alarmed to find out that he watches about 10 hours a day of Asian porn. I don't know if you've watched Too Personal, but I am not Asian, so there's nothing I can really do to appease that. Also, it seemed like an excessive amount of porn. I'm not against porn, but I think about by page 600, you've seen all that you need to see for the day, but not the case. So maybe that was one of them. That was certainly a shocking revelation. But I was thinking of some of my other friends and things that their partners have done to sort of reveal what kind of person they were. And in the end, even with that person, I kind of knew. I was pretty in the know that they could be capable of doing something like that. It's not like the relationship was perfect. And I'm not saying that any of these people had any inkling, because I do think that people trust people and then they betray them. But it is something that I'm very, very afraid of. One of the women said that Homeland Security busted down her door at 4 a.m. She'd been married for 28 years and had no clue who her husband really was. That's crazy. Another one said, both women were long distance. After she went to bed one night, I was having a chat with her friend and things started to not add up. Long story short, I found out she was cheating on me with her male cousin. Yeah, I don't know if I have any of those stories. But it is an interesting article because it is a real fear of mine that would be a very specific type of heartbreak. To me, there's two really big betrayals. One, waking up one day and being a completely different person. And two, using something that I tell you in confidence to hurt me. Those are two of the biggest betrayals that you can do. There's lots of other ways you can betray people. You can steal their money. You could cheat on them. You could, not take care of their rose garden while they were away. I don't know, all the different ways that you betray people, but those two are the highest on the list for me. All right, time to get to my dear friends and very talented author and host and producer, Van Lathan. My dear friend, Van Lathan, co-host of Higher Learning with my other very good friend, Rachel Lindsay, the Midnight Boys podcast, an Academy Award-winning producer and author of Fat, Crazy, and Tired, Tales from the Trenches of Transformation, which I have read. It's excellent. Welcome to Too Personal, Van.
Thank you.
All right, so what you guys don't know about me and Van is Van and I were very, very good friends.
Yeah.
And he is a trusted confidant and an older brother to me.
Yeah.
And we have very extensive, interesting conversations about very random things. Van will call me or text me some of the most random shit that you could ever imagine, which I won't share because I haven't gotten his permission to do so on all of them. But on a day or a time, I should say, a time like this where everyone is feeling a bit unnerved about the future, which I think is fair.
Certainly.
You would say what to me to keep me calm through the next 4 years?
I would ask you if you care about yourself.
I think so.
So if you care about yourself, then it's incumbent upon you to prioritize your self-care, particularly when things get dangerous or pernicious. So it's easy at any time, at any point in your life, it's easy to coast. But in times of peril, it's not easy to prioritize yourself, to prioritize your peace, and to prioritize things that make you feel good. And I would tell everyone right now to take a little bit of extra effort to put a little extra effort into feeling good.
But yes, what if that means apathy, which is what I'm doing?
What if
Like I'm dangerously close to just not giving a fuck about anything anymore. Like I don't care, let the world burn. What am I gonna do?
What does that mean?
What am I gonna do? Like what am I gonna do? What am I gonna change? What does it matter? These people have trillions of dollars. They're running the free world, if you want to call it that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
What's the point?
I always find apathy interesting because when you extrapolate, right, when you take apathy and make it big, becomes nihilism, right? And I wonder why it would take adversity for anyone to feel that way.
Well, it's not some adversity. It's overwhelming, nonstop, 24/7 news cycle, tragedy, pain, suffering, deportations, Nazi salutes, social media is being fake shut down for propaganda purposes. Like, eventually, people have to find, to your point, a safe space where they preserve themselves. So, like...
Well, okay, let me ask you this. Forget about politics. If an asteroid right now was headed towards Earth, we couldn't Armageddon it.
Yeah.
We knew...
Damn, what a good movie.
Yeah, right? Yeah,
it's a great concept.
Yeah,
That's
right?
what we would do.
Like, send random white people up there to drill.
We would send Steve Buscemi to space.
Think about the movie itself. The movie itself has Bruce Willis telling NASA engineers and scientists that they don't know how to fucking destroy the asteroid. He knows how to fucking do it. He knows how to fucking drill. Okay? And that's where we are right now. Some guy from Texas.
Incredible concept of a film. No one can tell me that's not a good idea.
I like it. But if that asteroid is coming here, we can't stop it. Would you care less or would you care more?
I would care less.
You would care less. See, I would care more.
Why?
Because...
How long before the asteroid gets here?
It doesn't matter.
No, that's very important.
It doesn't matter if it was a year, if it was a month.
What do you mean? It's incredibly important. If the asteroid is going to be here tomorrow, I'm just having sex for the next 24 hours.
See?
And drinking and like eating candy.
If the asteroid was here in the next 24 hours, I'm hugging my dog. I'm around with Kalika. I'm on the phone with my mom.
Well, yeah, of course, that too.
Well, no. See, here's the deal. The question is very simple. During a time of peril,
right,
of unavoidable cataclysm, would you care less or would you care more? It's not a moral judgment. It's a question that's central to how you look at things when the chips get down. So for me, when the chips get down, I focus. And I focus not just on what needs to happen in order for me to prevail. I focus on keeping myself healthy. Because the day after the election, right, the election happens, and shout out to Bakari Sellers and everybody else that came on the podcast, lied to us and told us we was going to win.
Did you think that Kamala was going to win?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. But shout out to everybody else that helped us believe it. When that happened, I thought to myself, okay, we're in the shit now. We're in the shit. We're in the shit now. What am I going to do? There are going to be people who are rightly, for good reason, fucked up, upset, the most vulnerable amongst us. People who are feeling like they're going to be deported any day. People who feel like their bodily autonomy is going to be forever taken from them. People who are going to be marginalized, silenced, and potentially killed in this new America. What do they need? They need somebody to keep their head. That's me. Simple. That's me.
We do need you.
Yeah. The version of American society that we have been educated on doesn't really exist. It's not a real thing. So communities, functional communities, are not based upon the strongest members of those communities, which is the way America feeds this society. They're based on the weakest members. And the way that we have looked at the world historically, black people, takes a village to raise a child, right? Why? Because the entire village is invested in the rearing of the child. Because the child becomes a contributor to the village.
Right.
And so it's not just my family, it's all of us together. Well, America says good fences make good neighbors. So we have our stuff over here. It's not for you, right. It's for us. And the way that we'll build our society is through cutthroat competition. Maybe. Doesn't seem to be working. What it seems to do is to create a clear dividing line between the haves and have-nots and a gilded society where 0.1% of all of the people control the politics, the water, the air, the soil, and all of that. So to me, the only way to build a society that really works, particularly for black people, is for us to care about how everybody is doing. That's why I'm not allowed to panic.
That sounds exhausting, Van.
But it's not.
It is exhausting. No, it is exhausting.
How?
What do you mean?
How is it exhausting? I'm not exhausted at all.
Well, you're built different.
That's not true.
You're built for tough.
It's not exhausting. It's not exhausting.
I know a lot of people find it exhausting to care all the time.
Because y'all not caring in the right way.
I care very, very deeply about like these things.
Yeah.
But caring about everybody requires a lot of pouring out.
I didn't say that.
Well, who are we caring about then?
Black people.
Yeah, that's a lot of people.
No.
In a lot of different spaces. And then you have people within the community who are also going to the other side. And then you're supposed to, what?
You're talking about black persons.
Uh-huh.
I'm talking about black people. Caring about black people only requires that you care about a couple of things. Like caring about black people means that you care about justice, you care about equity,
right?
And in my opinion, you care about atonement. That means that what I want to see is this. Throw a stat out that I love to quote for your listeners. If we were sitting in Boston right now, this would be the stat on wealth in Boston. Average white family in Boston, $285,000 worth of wealth. Not bad. Average black family in Boston, $8 of wealth. $8. Now, I could give you statistics across the nation where that number sometimes drops to zero. If you're black in Baltimore, on average, you have $0 worth of wealth. That translates in a country that is obsessed with money to you just having a harder time. Mm-hmm. Now, why? Why does that exist? Does it exist because you, as a black person, are incompetent? Because your ancestors were incompetent. Your mother and your father were incompetent. All they want to do is fuck, do crack, fucking sell dope, Jeezy, fucking all of that dumb. You know what I mean? That's all. They don't give a fuck, right?
Right.
Is it? No. It's because there is a systemic dysfunction that has led to outcomes. Let's fix the system.
Yeah, but Van, I mean, we're living in a time where like they're actively deteriorating any kind of progress towards those systems being dismantled. Mm-hmm. I really believe this entire election cycle, this entire shift, this entire very intentional propaganda towards young white men to make them afraid about their futures and make them feel like they need to be angry and be a part of something, the intentional deterioration of the American mind through whether it's deteriorating the education system, the reading level, positioning women as the enemy, like all of this is intentional to make it easier to control the populace, which is it's become easier than ever because everyone goes directly to the source, which is their phone. Mm-hmm. So all this is like very intentional.
Yeah.
It's to make it harder to do the things that we are talking about.
So what?
Well,
I mean, no, I'm asking, like, for real. So
I mean, my plan is just to be a billionaire, and then I can do whatever I want to reverse anything that I feel like doing. Actually, as a trillionaire.
Well, if your plan,
like my plan is to walk in the room as a black woman and be richer than these goofy ass white boys and tell them to suck my dick because we're doing it the way that I want to do it.
Now,
but the only way I can do that is if I'm a trillionaire.
This is what I would say to you: if you get that much money,
yeah,
whether you want to or not, you are contributing to the dysfunction that allows the oppression that you hate to exist.
Well, it's a good thing I'm caring less and less every day then.
Look.
I'm more of the Bruce Wayne type of billionaire, you know? Like I'm like the anti-hero billionaire.
Now, can I be honest with you about Bruce Wayne? Love the guy, love Batman. But rather than dress up like a fucking bat and beat the shit out of criminals all night, my guy, why don't you change Gotham through legislation? Bruce Wayne is the most...
He was too angry for that.
Right. He's thinking about himself. He wants revenge.
Right.
Out in The Dark Knight Rises, Alfred keeps telling Bruce Wayne, he's like, yeah, you want to dress up like a bat and zoom around and beat up criminals. But he's like, Alfred keeps saying, hey, man, I'm telling you, Bruce Wayne could do more for Gotham than Batman can. Oh, I got to avenge my father. Hey, why don't we put some things in place, change the tax structure, do some other stuff? Because you could actually do a lot of, Bane must die. Like, but Bruce, chill. Don't worry about kicking the shit out of the Joker. It's stuff that we could do to help. He's thinking about his trauma.
Okay, you always go to the extreme of it. I'm not gonna like fully get dressed up and go fight criminals.
You could.
I might like have an underground fight club or something.
See what I'm saying? Joe, you need to work some shit out. Look, this is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this. I'm not, and this is why conversations like this are productive. There's no right way to do it. There's, what I think is that some people need less so other people can have more. I am interested in clean water, good schools. Clean water, good schools. Because my vision of society is one where everyone seeks the betterment of themselves. Where your actual goal in society is not to accrue the most money. It's not to get the most power. It's not to have the most influence. It's to be the best version of yourself that you can be. Because if that is the goal of society, then so many of our massive problems have a better chance of getting solved. When you talk to people, you know, I come from a place where a lot of brothers go to jail.
Yeah.
Right? South Baton Rouge, Louisiana, incarceration is a gigantic part of my upbringing. Rest in peace, my Uncle Ray. Rest in peace, my Uncle Mark. Rest in peace, my Uncle David. All of these three guys who passed away, nobody made it to 70. All of these three guys who passed away spent a lot of time in prison, right? So I'm not unfamiliar with them. The thing about it is, with people, incarcerated people, they're talented. They're talented people. They're talented people that, because of dysfunction, spent their lives in and out of prison and in and out of the carceral system, rather than being men who potentially could have used their talents to better society. Now, what you can't convince is somebody that believes that inherently those guys are less valuable, that inherently they're less talented and they're dumber. You can't convince them that their brains are worth anything. You can't convince them that the women that are hurt when these men don't achieve or get wrapped up in a dysfunction cycle. And by the way, that's not me saying that incarcerated people don't have any worth or value. They do. They do. They're put in a very specific position to have their value extracted from them for somebody else's gain. But what I'm saying, when we say we're losing recipes, I don't just mean that culturally. What I mean is all of this stuff where we're not getting the best version of people that exist here in American culture and American cities and American communities, it hurts us. It hurts us because we have less people to tackle the problems that need to be tackled. There are less brothers out there that are trying to cure cancer. There are less brothers out there that are trying to find out ways to invent the newest, latest thing. There are less people tackling the problems that really would make our society better, that really would make people feel good. Because having a lot of money is great. I can guarantee you one thing. When Steve Jobs was dying of cancer, he didn't think at all about how rich he was. Now, he had it a lot better than a lot of other people who didn't have the money to maybe get the health care that he got. Right. That's for sure. But at the same time, the human problems and the human issues that bond us, money can't solve them.
Well, yeah, we're all dust in the end. I have a what's the theory? I have something I want to float by you. I don't know if I floated this by you yet.
No.
I think that we could start small. Mm-hmm. I feel like this is something I could get on board with.
Okay.
It wouldn't be too draining for me.
Yeah.
I think we should co-opt patriotism.
Okay.
Like, I think we should steal the flag back. Or just steal it at all. I don't even know if back is the right way to say it. Mm-hmm. But, like, I think if we made wearing the flag and, like, being super patriotic and loving America cool, it would absolutely fuck them up.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I agree, though. I agree in the grander scheme of things. Because I'm as American as anything. Listen, this is a very controversial belief of mine. I'm not what you would call a Pan-Africanist. I believe in the brilliance and the greatness of the continent of my origin. But my lineage begins very directly in the southern U.S. Mm-hmm. So when I think of my ancestors, of course I think about people who I'm connected to through origin thousands and thousands of years ago. But I particularly think of old black people from the South.
Yeah.
The people that raised me, the people that told me the way that the world works, right? So, in that sense, I am inherently and very directly American.
Right.
And I am proud of that. However, America got some work to do.
Okay, but
and so
this is what drives me fucking crazy, man.
America's got some work to do.
Having the whole idea that being critical of something means that you don't love it is an insanely fucking stupid concept. Mm-hmm. When you have these fucking idiots walking around saying that while wearing a hat that is a direct criticism of the country they claim to love, make America great again,
right,
is a critical statement. Mm-hmm. It is saying America right now is not good. That's what the again and the make is.
Right.
If you, of course, understand the English language, which I'm going to assume because we don't fucking learn other languages in this country. So a make America great again statement is a critical statement. It is being critical of the state of America, saying that we need to make America something different than what it currently is. So the idea that being critical of America means that you don't love it is fucking dumb. If I don't care that something is decaying and dying at all, then I don't love it. If I want something to be better, if it's something decaying bothers me, that means I have an attachment to it.
Yeah, but see, I'm saying something different. I get what you're saying. Those people know that they love America. I'm not sure.
You're not sure if you love America?
Not at all. No, of course not.
So, well, I'm confused.
About what?
Do you love America by default? Do you care about America by default because this is where your lineage starts? Like, what do you mean by you're not sure if you love America?
I'm not sure that I love America. Like, I don't know if that's a thing.
You don't know if you're patriotic.
Well, I want us to win at the Olympics.
Yeah, of course. And this is actually where this conversation originated, because a friend of mine was talking to me about being in Paris for the Olympics. And he was like, I wore this jean jacket with the American flag on the back of it.
Yeah.
And when I put it on, I had to like think about it. But then I was like, I'm actually in Paris and I'm here to root on our American athletes.
Yeah.
And it's the first time in a long time that I've actually felt patriotic.
Sure.
And of course, the Olympics, everything goes out the window. It's fuck everybody, Team USA. But then the Olympics are over and we all go back to clawing each other's eyeballs out. What I am suggesting is that we I'm talking about it now, so it's not a secret anymore, but whatever. We say things out loud and people don't pay attention to them all the time. I think that we should just fake it until we make it. Like, we just start talking about how much we love America. Like, this is our country. We are from here. We contribute to this country. We love everything about America. We love to be able to walk in here and do a podcast and talk on microphones and fucking buy Mountain Dew and do whatever the fuck we want. We love America just like these conservative people love America. The whole movement of this is positioning people who are not on this side of the bill as people that hate America.
Right.
Because there is this criticism, to your point, of things that America needs to be better at. The irony is they're saying the same thing. They just want to change different things than this side wants to change. Everybody is saying they want to change things.
Okay.
But only one side is positioned as anti-American.
Okay. So this is what I would say to that. They know that they love America.
And you're saying you don't know if you love America.
Right. So they're being critical of America. It's two different things. They're being critical of the country because they feel like something is happening to the country that they love.
Right.
What I'm saying is I want to love America, but I don't know if I can. Right? So what I'm saying is they're saying, hey, I love America, therefore I don't want to see America go away. Now, this is what I would say about those people and to those people. The version of America that they love is rooted in a very historic and almost pathological dominance and supremacy. They
don't give a fuck about that.
Right. So the version of America that they love is an America that I can't love. However, it's the real America. So what I would like, my ability to, because remember, I'm not talking about America. I'm talking about people. Mm-hmm. I'm not talking about doing it for the flag. Like, I care about the troops because I care about young men and women who have such a sense of honor that they've put their lives on the line for something that they believe in.
Right.
I care about people in communities, black people in communities, but also white people in Appalachia, in McDowell County, West Virginia, in places like Denham Springs, where the poor white trash crackers didn't have shit growing up. I guess it's nice now, but they didn't have shit when I was coming up. I care about people having things, but not because they're American, because they're human beings.
But they're human beings in America.
Doesn't matter to me.
So you would care about those same human beings in China?
Right, but which to me informs my politic. Now, I would say this. I definitely care about my community in Louisiana, in Baton Rouge, in South Baton Rouge, in Gardere, then niggas that went to McKinley, then the class of 1998. It can get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller in the level that I care. But I think that human beings are entitled to certain things when they arrive on this planet. And it's my job to make sure that I use my voice to ensure that they have them. And it's not because they're American. It's because they're alive. And so when you ask me whether or not I care about America, let me tell you what my connection to America is. My connection to America really is that my ancestors loved it. Is that they grew up in a time where they put limb and heart and mind in jeopardy to be American. So their sacrifice, like, that is what changed me to the idea of America. Mm-hmm. They are the ones that said, you know what? It is important that we can stand up and be counted. Because, once again, there's a myth. And the myth is that after the niggas went from the plantation to the welfare office, that they said, hey, we are free. Take care of us. That's not what they did. What they did with all of their might was attempt to go and take the American dream.
Right.
They bought land. They bought horses. They tended this land. They ran for office. They did everything that they could. And through contract buying schemes, white terrorism, and conning them, all of their efforts were intentionally destroyed. They wanted America. They wanted it badly. And they suffered and died and fought and burned and got hung and lynched and got raped for it. That I appreciate. I appreciate their sacrifice. But the lessons that I learned from their lives is that America didn't want them. And so to me, it's hard to love something. Lupe Fiasco says, how do you forgive the murderer of your father? Right?
No, I mean, you're not speaking to me. I don't know how I feel about America.
I'm
my trying to convince myself what the fuck all this is for and not bail and go move to fucking Italy.
I get it. But my point is this. If you ask me whether or not I love America, I can say, I'm not sure. But I can also say, I want to. I want to believe that the American ideals that my ancestors fought and died for, that they're possible.
Here's what I'll say. I think the more I learn, the less I like things.
Okay.
The more I learn, the less I'm like, oh, I thought that this was an ideal that was pursuable. I thought this was something that it's not. This social construct existed because of this, and now I've read this book and I realize that it's all bullshit. Mm-hmm. And the more educated I become, the more hardened I become. And I don't know if that's what's supposed to happen, but that's what's happening. So while I'm pitching this pro-patriotism thing,
I get it.
Yeah, like I think it's more of like just keep telling myself this until it comes to be. Because similarly, my grandfather served 30 years in the Army. Mm-hmm. He retired a command sergeant major. He served in Vietnam. I wouldn't dare say any of the things that I'm saying in front of this man. Rest in peace, Grandpa. I would be terrified to even question, do you love America? Of course he does. He's spent 30 years of his life and put his life on the line in a foreign country to fight for the ideals of what this country is. And no country is perfect. Like we glamorize other places, and then you have people there telling you like, okay, you guys come here for a vacation. This isn't real life. Everyone has their struggles. I just think when you look at the future of what the future holds, when the gap continues to get wider, and we are pushing the gap wider, and by we I mean society, they're telling us this is what we're doing, and people are still voting against their own interests. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I'm one person.
You remember the movie Soul Food? Did you see that?
Yes.
See the original Soul Food?
Yes.
Remember Mekhi Phifer's character in Soul Food? Mm-hmm. All right, now let's look at Mekhi Phifer's character in Soul Food. All right. Very erotic sex scene in the bathroom of the movie. It's very spectacular.
It was really well done.
So let's look at him. He is, and let's make him American.
Pause. Actually, no. It's very inappropriate. Never mind. Go ahead.
Say it.
No, I was starting to rank sex scenes in movies in my brain, but I don't know. I don't know if I like the love and basketball sex scene.
It doesn't even compare
as much. It's kind of weird.
Yeah,
actually.
The soul food sex scene was luscious and real. And,
the love and basketball is awkward.
That's whatever. Love and basketball is great, but play me for your heart, whatever, man.
Okay, Mekhi Phifer.
Okay. So let's make Mekhi Phifer in Soul Food America.
Okay.
That's an America I could love. Do you know why? Let's look at Mekhi Phifer in Soul Food. Sure, he's been inside. Mm-hmm. But what is he doing?
He's working to
He's trying
better his life, yes, and provide for his family.
So he is hitting roadblock after roadblock because all he wants to do is better. All he wants to do is change the perception of himself. He wants to be a good husband. He wants to be a good father one day. He wants to be dependable. Now he's hitting roadblock after roadblock. The Samuel St. James gave him a job behind his back. He didn't even know what was going on.
It's so crazy.
He has to borrow money
right
from his brother-in-law, China. He has to borrow money from his brother-in-law, right? He has to do all of these things. But what he wants more than anything is to be a good husband. It's the trying that makes you love that character. It's the fact that he aspires to be better than he was in the past.
Yeah, he's not submitting to his circumstances.
Right. If you don't want that, if you don't want that, if you don't want to be better, forget about what the history is. Forget about what it was, right? Forget about the fact that you can't change it. If you want to be better than it, I can love that. I can love you. I can love the effort.
Do you think that America is trying to be better?
Of course not. No. Not at all.
Yeah, I don't either. I think there's also a massive attack on femininity. Like the idea is that masculinity is actually what's being attacked, right? Like that everything is watered down, everything is softened now. It's, everything is feminine. I actually think femininity is under control. I think that a big part of the reason why this is happening is because women got too close to power.
Okay, how so?
I mean, the audacity that a black woman would run for president. I mean, this was their last stand. They were like, hold on, listen, we let you in boardrooms, we let you get credit cards. Running for president is it's too much audacity for us. When you have like cute aggression, when you see something that's like so cute, you just start spazzing out. They had like audacity aggression. Like, how the fuck could she do this?
Yeah.
She's supposed to fucking stay in line.
Yeah.
There's too many bitches. Get them out of here. And that's what it's really about. So rolling back of women's rights and this push that women have somehow created this world where there's too much equality and we can make choices about when we have children, and that marriage rates are dropping because nobody wants to fucking deal with a cheating alcoholic man when you can just get your own apartment.
Yeah.
Guys are lonely. Men in these fucking caves that would never touch a woman in their life anyway have convinced themselves that OnlyFans models are curving them because they sent them $5.
Yeah.
It is this attack on femininity. It's not about masculinity.
Right.
That's my opinion.
And
the OnlyFans thing is actually the biggest part to me.
Tell me about the OnlyFans thing.
Well, the idea that men would be mad at women for making money off of other men is a concept that my brain can, and I have many ridges, so like my brain cannot connect those two. I am not paying OnlyFans models for photos and videos.
Right.
I don't have the app.
Yeah.
The people who are paying these women are men. So how are men mad at women?
How are men mad at women? How are men mad at OnlyFans models? Why are they mad at it? The shame is necessary for control.
Correct.
Shame is a control mechanism.
Right.
So what they're taught is that there is a specific type of woman, and that specific type of woman is supposed to be completely submissive to maleness. And one way to be completely submissive to maleness is to be chaste. So if you are not chaste, then you are a wild woman. Wild women can be lusted after, but they must be shamed. Because if a woman doesn't listen to a man about who she should fuck, then she's not probably going to listen to that man about anything. You can't have that. You have to be able to, the first level of control that you have over a woman is telling her what she can do with her body.
Right. And
then after she believes that, you got her. So there's a reason why. Like, I love my father. My dad's passed away a couple of years ago. Rest in peace, Dad. Like, I wrote about it in the book. It's interesting. My father was a very good man in the ways that he could be good. He was as good a guy as he could have been. And he meant a lot to me, and he instilled a lot into me. I was about 16, and my dad said, "You got any pussy yet?" And of course, the answer to this question was no. But I lied. I was like, yeah. He was like, "No, you haven't." Lie to me. I see the way you walk. You wouldn't be walking that way if you had got some pussy. That's not the way a pussy-getting man walks. I've seen you. Look at the way you carry yourself. Nobody's fucking you. You haven't got any pussy. And he looks, he goes, "All right now, 16 years old, and you're a Lathan man. We're handsome. We're charming men. I don't know no Lathan man that get to 16 and ain't got no pussy yet." Now, what does that do to me?
It shames you into wanting to impress your father, and so now you have to go and get pussy.
But what does it do to women?
It makes women become itemized.
Bingo.
In your brain.
A woman is no longer a woman.
Yes, a woman is pussy.
A woman is a means for me to achieve my manhood.
Correct.
They're a means for me to connect with my father getting the girl to have sex with me now is a birthright. I have to do it to hang out with my uncle. So my brain is fucking scrambled. I'm like, oh my God. So I start going at this shit totally different. Hey, you want to come over? We can study? Yeah, we can study at the library. Why you don't want to come over? In the back of my mind, I'm thinking, God damn, she got to come over. I'm not a Lathan man. What's going to happen? What's going on? It's got to happen, you know? And after a while, you train yourself out of that. You know what I mean? After a while, particularly if you're a halfway desirable man, you start to realize that it's not that big of a deal. Like, it's not a thing. But if you have that same outlook on life in any way, if you think that women are an ingredient to you achieving the best version of yourself, rather than sentient people with their own lives and needs and things like that, and you can't get any women, then what you are now is in a constant competition with them and yourself.
Right.
You can never be who you were supposed to be, and they are always going to be better than you. And so when I look at all this stuff, that's why it's also important. That's why parasocial relationships are cool, but it's also important to actually meet and talk to people, because women like men for all kinds of weird reasons.
This is correct.
Like, I don't understand this shit. Like, a lot of times,
we don't either.
Like women like men for all kinds of weird reasons. To be like, you fuck with that nigga? That's like, hey, leave him alone. Okay, he's a computer programmer. You don't fucking know. What do? You work at fucking Best Buy. He knows. Do you know MS?
I used to date a guy that wore purple contacts. He used to rob drug dealers for a living.
Joy,
but, man, in my defense, there was a time when if you didn't date a drug dealer, you really actually didn't even have a boyfriend. Like,
now see what I'm saying? Now
right?
it's a bunch
we
of
were programs. I blame Destiny's Child Soldier. All right, it wasn't even my fault.
But look, see, even that right there. Do you know how many guys that was outside, like, hey, Joy, you want to come over and do trigonometry? Hell no. I'm hanging out with Jody tonight. You got a Sebring, Chrysler Sebring. You know what I mean? He got the and then now that guy is scarred. You know what I mean? Because his self-worth is about something other than himself. Now, put you like this. There's something else that my dad would also tell me other things about women. And he was very radical about, to me at least, about he wanted a woman to choose me for me. Like he wanted me to know that I did not have a right to women. That you have to have your shit together. My dad would be like, son, I was all mad about a girl. He said he's got a couple of good one-liners. I was all upset about a girl I was with had gone with this other guy. And my dad went, son, let me tell you something. You can't control these little gals that you're dating. You gotta remember something. It's not your pussy, it's your turn.
It's not a good line, man.
It's a great line.
It's not a good advice.
It's great advice.
That's not good advice.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I love you, and by proximity, your father. But that's not good advice.
That's feminist. See, this is the problem.
That's not good
That's
advice.
feminist. My dad was one of the great feminists.
If we treat men like that,
that's feminist.
If we treat men like
Hold
that.
Hold on.
Wait. If we start talking about men like that,
I don't care. That's feminist. Let me tell you why I stand on that being feminist.
Okay, I'm here.
That's feminist because what my dad is essentially telling me in that situation is
she's not your property.
Don't own her.
No, that's good. All right, you got me back.
Like, you don't own her. Sure, have your feelings and have your jealousy, but if you go out there and you fighting somebody over the fact that a woman has made a decision to be with somebody else, if you're mean to her, if you're mean to him, you're lame. Pick yourself up and go have another turn. And he told me, he goes, hopefully you meet one of these little gals. Because, I was awkward. He goes, son, there's going to be a girl one day. When you watch Star Wars, he's like, it's going to be a girl one day that watch Star Wars with you. Don't worry about it. It might not happen for a long time. But it's going to be a girl one day that watch Star Wars with you. She's going to like you so much, she's not even going to care. She's going to be like, come on, Van, let's watch Obi-Wan Kenobi. And so, to me, he would say stuff like that all the time. Mm-hmm. And to me, I'm like, you know what? He's right. He's right.
You want me back. You lost me for a second, but you got me back.
Do you know why? Because this is important.
It's a little brash.
It's the speech.
Yeah.
See, he didn't mince words. He also told me one time, he goes, I was trying to do this for a girl and trying to get the whole thing. He goes, let me tell you something, son. If a woman really wants to fuck you, you got to talk her out of it, not into it. That's facts.
Walk me through that one.
If a woman wants you,
Yeah.
if she actually is into you, if the vibe is there, you literally have to fuck that up. You have to fuck it up. Like, women choose, and they are very connected to men for all kinds of reasons. You have to choose it. There's nothing that you can really say, or there's nothing that you should try to say to talk a woman into your bed.
Okay.
His thing was, that's what weaklings do. Weaklings pressure women. Weaklings try to talk when weaklings lie about stuff.
So you have to be unbothered.
What you have to remember is that the vibe is the most important thing. The most important thing is to be yourself and give whatever lady that you're talking to, like, the opportunity to want to be with you. Now, if you don't do that, if you tell a bunch of lies, if you try to come with the one-liners, if you try to come, more than likely, you're going to fuck everything up. You're doing too much. Be yourself, be who you are. It's a tough lesson to learn.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like your dad overall set you up for success.
He was a very handsome man, so a lot of these things came easy to him.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but that's important though, because men who don't get pussy act a certain way. That's why he was talking to you like that. Now, granted, you were 16 years old, so wherever you lie on that part of the pressuring and the appropriate time.
He
for
also
that
had many extramarital hoes and all these kids. So
right. Well, fine. Okay.
I didn't realize till after he died he had them.
I'm not judging. I'm just
hey,
saying it's your family. I won't judge.
You're uncomfortable with that,
No, I'm not. What the fuck? Look, we're not getting into all that. Okay, people be fucking. All right.
Too personal.
It is. It's fine. People be fucking. They do that.
I still love my dad.
Exactly.
I met his daughter. My dad's daughter went into the message board of one of my podcasts and was like, I think I'm Van's sister.
I think you told me this.
Like some crazy
Van,
shit.
I have to count. Hold on. 1, 2, 3. I have 4 half siblings.
Yeah, one of them niggas unblockable.
Yes.
Can't be blocked.
Can't be blocked.
Light skin. How did that work? He's one of the.
They hated it. They hated it.
He was too handsome to rush the passer.
They hated it. He was a Neutrogena model.
Do you know if I was like
he was before his time.
If I was like a 6'5" offensive lineman from fucking Tuscaloosa, and Jason Taylor was whipping my ass all day long, I would feel so fucking played.
They hated it for sure.
I'd be like, why don't you go to the beach, nigga?
They hated it. I'm telling
what you on right now?
Many times, players that have played against him tell me that they hated that about him.
He out there swim moving you, and then fucking going to Ocean Drive. I don't know. I see it all the time. I'm like, there are other guys I feel like this too. It's like it's the whole thing. Anyway,
it was very unfair. No, but I think that men that don't get pussy are very obvious, and there's a lot of non-pussy getting men out here pretending that it's women's fault that they don't get pussy. But the reality is they have convinced themselves that because they see so much beauty, or they see so many women that they feel they should have access to, whether it's on social media or reality television or movies, whatever it is, we're so overstimulated that they believe they should have access to, like, the princess, because they can see the princess and follow her on social media and send her DMs.
Women believe the same thing, though.
Right, but women can do things men can't do.
Like what?
Like fuck a prince.
Okay. But men can do that too. This is what...
Yeah, but men, most of the time, need other things in order to do that.
Right, but that's why men then try to accrue those things. They try to acquire those things.
But I'm saying, let's just focus on the men that doesn't have those things. Okay, let's focus on this guy. Right, and if you're this guy, I'm talking to you for a very specific reason. I feel like there's a great deal of society that's convinced all men, right, that they should have the most beautiful, like, non-accessible women on the planet.
But they've
from their grandmother's basement.
I know, but they have convinced those men of so many other things too. Remember when you said you wanted to be the trillionaire?
Yeah.
They've convinced those men, a lot of those men, to vote for the interests of those billionaires.
Correct.
In hopes that they will one day be them. So there are so many different things that those, I don't
think it's a singular thing that has caused them to be incels.
Right.
But what I think is particularly dangerous when it comes to the dynamic between men and women is and I do think that pussy has a great deal to do with this.
Yeah.
These men have convinced themselves that they should have women that in any point in the history of time they would never have access to. Like you were always this guy, and you could not walk into the King of the Vikings fucking setup at Kattegat and say, I'm going to marry your daughter. They would take you outside and do the blood eagle for having the fucking audacity to say that you were going to take, I love that show.
Yeah.
That you were going to take the fucking princess. You don't get to fuck the princess.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, don't even fucking look at the princess. You keep your head down and you fucking don't even look at her.
Right.
But now that same guy who's never slain another warrior and doesn't have the fucking, Viking ring.
Yeah.
Just never put blood on his face. Doesn't think he should fuck the princess. Thinks the princess should die because the princess won't look at him.
Right. But what I'm saying is, I agree with you. What I'm saying is, so two things. One, social media has exacerbated this, right? For everyone. Social media has exacerbated this from everyone. I talked to an old groupie one time, and she was mad at the new groupies. And she was mad at the new groupies. She goes, back in my day, if I wanted to fuck Jermaine Jackson from the Jackson 5,
You had to work for it.
I had to work for it. I had to put some effort into it, right? Or I had to be lucky. The Jackson 5 had to be coming through town. And even when the Jackson 5 came through town, I had to fight my way up there. I had to wait. I had to do all of that. She's like, it's not like I could just...
And still not get shows.
Right. It's not like I could just DM him and send him 15 pictures and videos and then he would choose me. Like, that's different. That's lazy. So everything has changed, right? So the way that we compete has changed, but more than anything, the way that we lose has changed. Now, PPP loans, a PPP loan is not, when everybody was scamming the loans, it's not just a means to get some bread. It's a means to get everything. It's a means to get the belt you need. It's a means to get the thing that you need. It's a means to get your followers up. And all of that means everything else comes with it. But the people on the other side of that lose, that don't have what it's necessary to compete, they lose hard. They lose to a point to where the win has been changed so much that those guys don't have anybody to fuck. Now, I'm going to ask you a question.
But they do.
But they don't think that they do.
That's their fucking fault.
But let me ask you a question about the incels. Do you think the incels, do you care about the loneliness of the incel?
I think that male loneliness is a massive fucking problem.
Okay, so
I think non-pussy getting male lonelies are deteriorating society. Yes, I think it is a massive problem.
What do you think the fix is?
One, I think we should legalize prostitution.
Okay.
I have been standing on this for decades, and I think that prostitution should be legalized.
Okay.
They will never do this, but that I think would be a massive solve.
Massive solve. Okay.
One.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Ask follow-ups.
No. Follow-up is what, because that's a temporary loneliness fix, although it's effective. What would be a long-term fix to bringing people back together? What do you think?
Okay. So while it's a temporary fix, right, and many people will have some retorts to this, of course. It's not a simple solve. Mm-hmm. But I believe that straight male biology, and particularly men who have this sort of anger, is because they don't get physical intimacy, right? But they have convinced themselves the type of physical intimacy they would like is, their favorite porn star or favorite OnlyFans girl or this unattainable beauty on Instagram who is never, ever, ever, ever going to fuck you or meet you or talk to you ever. Mm-hmm. So they don't look for the physical intimacy that is around them. They don't go outside of their home. They don't go down to the local library. They don't go to their local bar. They don't go join a social group in order to meet people because they feel that this fucking beautiful 10, whatever, is going to walk through their fucking front door and suck their dick. And that's never going to happen. Mm-hmm. But they sit there scrolling like, hey, in the DMs. And they believe then that the women are not responding to them because of feminism.
Wait a minute. So are you telling me that when the pizza guy shows up to the door?
Yeah, I don't suck his dick, actually.
I mean, but that's not real. That doesn't happen.
No, I know the setups in porns are insane.
But
and you buffer past.
But I don't.
Do you buffer past or not?
Well, I buy porn, so I don't. I'm a porn buyer, so I don't. So like it, I get.
So you have to get your money.
I get my shit in the top quality. Like, it's because I'm actually supporting. Yeah. Like, I get my shit.
You want it clear?
Yeah, I don't want to fucking y'all niggas. I don't understand how y'all niggas. Y'all niggas want fucking spyware on y'all computers and all of that stuff like that.
It's a lot.
I watched the BTS. I watched the behind the scenes. I want to know.
Watch the interviews.
Yeah.
Interviews are such a waste of time. I hate an interview porn. Yeah. You're just sitting there and it's like flash, 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 and it's back to her talking. No, what's the point?
No, I want to know. You know, hi, my name is Candace. I'm from Rialto. Well, anyway.
We have derailed. The point is, I think intimacy is a big problem. I think men not having sex is a big problem.
But this is my
and the confidence that comes from not having physical intimacy, not having the ability to have sex, turns them into these raging psychopaths that then blame feminism and women running for presidents as the reason why society is deteriorating. And then they go out and vote as such in favor of trillionaires who wouldn't give a fuck if they had their last breath halfway through this podcast.
You are not wrong in terms of how the lack of access to affection, how it feels, it's isolating and all that. I get it. This is my fix to it. It's very simple. My fix to it is for us to think about how we are reorienting society. Like, for example, all of the kids that I work with and all of that stuff, they're always talking about how hard it is to date, but they're also talking about all the places that they don't want to go. Mm-hmm. They want to be in their cribs.
Right.
They want to be in their houses. They want to do all their work on Zoom. Can this have been done in an email? No, you need to talk to people, because the more conversations you have with people and the more that you're around people, the more the walls between you and them fall down.
Couldn't agree more.
And you're able to build common interests and attractions with people.
With human beings. Don't you think that's why you have great conversations in strip clubs?
Well, you have great conversations in strip clubs because strip clubs are, well, number one.
Strippers, great conversationalists.
Yeah, but that's also because, like, they just know.
Yeah, of course.
They know how to do it.
Right.
Right. Well, but that's also for a monetary gain.
Sure, but that's what makes them great conversationalists.
Fair enough.
I think that I totally agree. And I think that when I was watching some clip the other day on social about, I'm going to butcher it, but basically the point of the story that this guy was telling was that he was with someone that he totally disagreed with politically, and like otherwise they would have hated each other. And they ended up getting stuck together for hours on end, had a great conversation, and in the end they found a lot of common ground, which is like, yeah, of course. Mm-hmm. We all have people who are Trump supporters in our lives, some of whom we love very dearly and we're very confused about, or not even Trump supporters, just apathetic,
yeah, or
they have some very controversial opinions,
right,
or they're going through weird times.
Anti-vaxxers.
Endless.
Spike protein.
Endless things. The raw, oh my God.
5G tower.
Regrettably, I got sucked into the CMOS thing for a little while. Thank
what?
God. I know. It's so
You a CMOS Grand Rising nigga?
So embarrassing. I know.
Oh my God, you Grand Rising CMOS fucking.
I deserve the shame.
Silver drinking motherfucker, you.
It's fine. I have to wear it. All of those things. Once you start having conversations with people and asking questions and listening, as opposed to just trying to force your opinion on people, then you find commonality. Like that's circling back to your point about fences make great neighbors. Mm-hmm. When we lived in communities where everyone had to support each other in order to survive, there was a different mentality on things. We're always divided. We're divided in our fences. We're divided in our apartment buildings. We're divided at work. We're divided when we go out to certain clubs, certain places. There's a VIP section. There's a regular section. Everything is about division. If you actually talk to people, then you find that actually this person actually doesn't really hate you. They don't like this one thing. Mm-hmm. Now some people are hateful, demonic, evil people, and they should get their ass beat. But for the most part, people are just trying to make it through their fucking day, pay their rent, hopefully have sex once a month.
People are generally good.
And no, I actually believe most people have the ability to be bad more than good.
They have the ability to be bad, but I think most people are generally good.
I think most people are neutral.
I think it's a pro evolutionary trait for human beings to work together. I think it's a part of it. Like when you see water buffalo in the herd and they put the weakest water buffalo in the middle, the water buffalo are thinking, this is what they're not fucking moral. The water buffalo are thinking, this is the best thing to do for us to survive. In order for people to build complex societies, we had to think about one another. That's what laws are. They're basically little treaties to make sure that we're not fucking over each other all the time. So I believe that if you get into the behavioral economics, even with like primates, monkeys, like if you read Dan Ariely's Predictably Irrational, monkeys have an innate sense of fairness. They did a whole fucking, they understand what's fair and unfair. And they go, wait a minute, that's not right. So I think that there's something inside of us that makes us want to work together and makes us want to love each other. However, I think the moment someone dropped a seed in the ground, it changed. Because the moment that you dropped a seed in the ground and grew a tree, it wasn't a tree anymore. It was your tree. And then you having a tree meant that you had land, meant that you had a field, meant that you had a tribe, and now we're competing for resources. That competition for resources is sometimes, in my opinion, what separates us. So if we learn to share, we'll learn to share everything, including pussy. You gotta share it. It's gotta be shared.
You took the words out of my mouth, but that's why you're such a professional, because you landed the plane perfectly. Because I was gonna add including pussy, but
including pussy.
You did it perfectly.
Yeah.
Van Lathan, host of Higher Learning and Midnight Boys. Make sure you go and get his book as well, Fat, Crazy, Tired, Tales from the Trenches of Transformation. If you don't get pussy, maybe you can listen to some advice from Van's father.
Oh, because I was down bad for
about
years, man.
How to accomplish that. Thank you for coming by. This was about as close to our personal conversations.
there's another level.
No, we're getting too personal. There's no more levels. Love talking to Van. Make sure that you go and follow him on all his social media platforms and check out his podcast, Higher Learning with Rachel Lindsay. It's time for Never Too Personal. You know, we love this segment. We get to catch up with you guys and hear your stories or give you advice if you ask for it. And we got an email this week from, I guess we don't need to say his name. I don't know if we got full permission. Yeah, we can? I don't know. Okay. Well, we'll say from R. We got an email this week from R. And after overhearing a conversation between two coworkers about himself, he asked what women usually mean when they say a guy is too nice for her, and how can a guy overcome that perception without changing who they are? So basically, two coworkers were talking about him, and she said that he was too nice for her. He's not interested, but he thought that was an interesting bit of info on his personality. So here's the thing about the bad guy and the nice guy. The whole idea that nice guys finish last is really silly when you're talking about adulthood. When you're young, the bad guy is exciting and kind of toxic and thrilling, and there's this idea that you get that, you know, you're gonna kind of defeat the bad guy in him, and he's gonna keep this edge but treat you like a princess, and all these crazy things that we make up in our girl brains about how that's going to work, and it never does. And then, in my opinion, you get older and you realize that that is all just a ploy to keep you interested, to create this idea of anxiety and a chase and winning, and we always think we can fix them. But there is something to being too nice. And it's not about being a good person or being kind or being respectful, because all of those things are a prerequisite to having a good partner. Being too nice, and I'm not saying that R is too nice because I don't know him, and maybe this girl is still into the toxic bad guy, but the too nice guy is somebody that is too available, who doesn't have good boundaries, who doesn't really have standards, who comes across as desperate and doesn't have a lot of self-confidence or self-respect. And sometimes the nice guy bit is used in a toxic way as well. Like, why don't you like me? I'm so nice to you. Well, no one's required to like you because you're nice. Nice is the bare minimum. You should be nice to people. What other way would you be? But being too nice is also a ploy for some men to kind of guilt women, or to create this idea that the reason why no one really wants to date them is because women only like bad guys. That's not true. You need to be kind, you need to be respectful, but you don't need to be a doormat. You don't need to accept whatever a woman gives you because she's your girlfriend and you don't want to lose her. There is a such thing as being too nice. And it sounds fucked up, but that is how I feel about it. I will not date someone who isn't kind. Everyone that I date is wonderful, 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 wonderful man. Treats me with respect, is considerate, intelligent, intentional, nice, but not too nice. They're not just gonna let somebody walk all over them. They're not just gonna take whatever kind of attitude or what kind of treatment that they get from somebody. And that goes across everything that's in their life. So it's not about being too nice. It's about having boundaries and self-respect. Again, I have no idea if this person is too nice. Maybe they're just a good person and this particular woman likes toxicity. Entirely possible. But if we're talking about the archetype of the bad guy and the guy that's too nice, they're both toxic in their own different ways. Be kind, be respectful, be loving, but you also have to be kind, respectful, and loving to yourself as a man. And women can sense that kind of confidence. It's not about being too nice. It's about having confidence. So that's my opinion on the nice guy. Make sure that you send in your questions, your comments, your stories to twopersonalpodcast@gmail.com. This was an email, so we love that and appreciate that story. You can also send in your stories on Instagram, Too Personal Show. On Sundays, we put up the prompt, or you can just DM us anytime, and we love to hear from you guys. So thanks for sending them in. Again, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you hit subscribe on the Too Personal YouTube page and follow us on our social media pages at Too Personal Show, and we'll catch you next week.